All right, so I had this question. I've been working with both things like cinema cameras as well as a lot of streaming equipment over Camlink capture devices and similar. So I wanted to know if it's actually better to use SD media or an SD card to record video to, and if it is better, how much better is it than something like an Elgato Camlink 4K card? So in this video, we're going to see how much better it is, or if it is indeed better, to record on an SD card directly from your camera if you're going to say post a video to YouTube or just shoot video in general, versus going out of HDMI using clean HDMI, converting that through a capture card like a Elgato Camlink 4K, and then putting that on your timeline and seeing what the result looks like. So stay tuned for that, and we will test both of those. Let's go. Okay, so now I'm looking at the Sony ZV-E10, and you can see I'm recording to the camera's SD card simultaneously with my OBS environment, which is basically recording over the Camlink or Elgato Camlink 4K device. So let's see if these are different in terms of the quality. I'm going to move my hands and look at motion, and also look at things like depth of field, graininess of the image, just to see if the encoding steps are less basically on the direct to SD card versus going out HDMI and onto the Camlink. Okay, so let's take a look at that one more time. This time I'll kind of narrate what I'm seeing, at least when I compare the left and the right sides, both on SD media and OBS through the Camlink. Okay, so if I look at the two images, on the left-hand side, you're going to see the one right from the SD card. On the right-hand side, it's from the Elgato Camlink 4K. Now, the first thing that strikes me is the sharpness of the image on the left, and just how focused it is and how much nicer it is from the subtle details perspective. Not sure if that will translate, by the time I upload it to YouTube, but it is indeed sharper, when I look at it. There's a little bit of haziness. The color is a little tiny bit off on the right as well. It's like it's gone through one generation of encoding, like when you encode an MP4 a second time. Okay, so you just saw it. It is better when you record to an SD card versus the Camlink. The Camlink looked pretty good, but it's not quite as detailed, as sharp as what the SD card's doing. So what I think's happening is it's actually doing another pass of encoding and decoding. If you've ever done, like, you've re-ripped a MP4 file and then reprocessed it a second time to create another MP4 file, or if you do pre-rendering, those types of things. Basically it's lost, I think, a generation in going out the HDMI and then coming into my PC and then having to encode it and decode it for OBS, in this case, to record the video with the audio. So hopefully that helps you. And even though you might not be using the SD card as part of your workflow, it is better to use it in this case. I think I'm going to start doing this myself, because I've been kind of going straight from HDMI out into OBS to record everything I do, but it looks like it's going to be cleaner if I record to SD media and then produce the video, do post-production against that SD media captured video. It's just a little bit nicer, and I think it'll produce a little bit better product in post. So hopefully this helps. If you like this tip, be sure to hit the like button. Otherwise, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching.